Good afternoon. First, I want to remind you that the village's essential services are continuing to operate. Our police department and the Orland Fire Protection District are operating normally and responding to all calls, while simultaneously executing our emergency pandemic plans. The first question for today is the Secretary of State open? All Secretary of State offices are closed until April 7th. The Secretary of State office in Orland Park will remain closed after that date until further notice to ensure the continuity of local government based on the limitations of people being in the building. Second question, what will happen if I don't register my car in time or if my driver's license expires while they are closed? According to the Secretary of State, expiration date for driver's licenses, ID cards, vehicle registrations, and other transactions and document filings will be extended for the duration of the disaster proclaimed by Governor Pritzker and 30 days after the disaster ends. Another question was, what businesses are considered essential businesses? This is an important one that confused a lot of people. Based on the Governor's executive order, many, if not most businesses can be considered essential businesses. It is up to each business to review the Governor's executive order or to call the Governor's office to determine if it can remain open. Please do not call the village to ask for this determination. Neither our staff nor I can make this decision. It is up to the businesses and Governor's office. Also, do not call the police or 911 to ask this question. It is important that these lines remain open for emergency calls and official business. Upon my review of the Governor's executive order, it is clear that the following businesses are impacted. Restaurants can remain open for pickup or delivery. Schools are closed until April 7th. All places of public amusement, indoors or outdoors, are to be closed, including but not limited to amusement parks, water parks, aquariums, zoos, museums, arcades, children's play centers, movie theaters, theme parks, bowling alleys, concert music halls, country clubs, and/or social clubs. There have been several questions about whether or not certain businesses are open. We don't know what businesses have decided to stay open and which have closed. Please call or email the businesses you have a question about to determine whether or not they are open. Again, please don't call the village as we do not know the status of individual businesses. Also, it is important to remind you not to call the police or 911 to ask this question. These lines need to remain open. Another question that we've received is, what activities are permitted? This is an important one that we addressed last night as well. The following activities are permitted. Leaving home for essential activities. These include activities for health and safety, for necessary supplies and services, for outdoor activity, including walks, bike rides, etc., for work in businesses that remain open, and to take care of others. Also, if you are traveling for these permitted activities, I encourage you to order food for pickup from our local restaurants if you are able to help our businesses during these challenging times. Another question that popped up yesterday is, why are there tents at the University of Chicago? University of Chicago is preparing for testing and other requirements due to COVID-19. We are communicating with U of C to come up with the best plan to meet U of C's needs while limiting the impact to the operations of the village and our emergency responders. We've also received a question about why road construction is continuing in Orland Park. Construction is considered an essential business for the village of Orland Park. Due to the weather, the construction season is limited and it is critical to work when we are able to due to the weather. There is no reason that these projects can't continue. They are outside and social distancing can be maintained. Additionally, the village of Orland Park considers this an essential service. Taxpayers pay our employees wages, and wherever possible, we will ensure that our employees are providing services in return. Do residents need to pay their rent? Yes. Any alternative arrangements are between you and your landlord. Another question that we've been asked is, do residents need to pay their water bill? Yes. If someone is having difficulty due to the current situation, please contact our water department, as there may be programs available to assist you. Another question that we've received is, how will we get our money when banks close down? Banks are essential businesses and can remain open. Contact your individual bank to determine how they are currently operating. Another question we've received several times is, why doesn't Orland Park have a curfew in place? There is no need to implement a curfew. We still live in a free country, and with that comes the ability to travel and move about freely. There's absolutely no reason to suspend constitutional rights. Neither the President nor the Governor have done so, and I certainly will not. Personally, I have received several emails demanding that I close certain businesses, as well as emails demanding that I close parks. As stated above, it is up to the businesses to make those determinations in coordination with the Governor's office. Additionally, Orland Park parks, bike paths, and walking trails will remain open. It is important for everyone to be good citizens and be mindful of others during this time. For those of you making those demands, I would ask you to do a few things. First, rather than trying to police everyone else's behavior, please look at your own actions and availability and find a way to help the community in some way. Second, remember that your emails and phone calls take the valuable time of employees that have other essential tasks. Third, with the time that you have, read about world history and the many times that people have committed atrocities in the name of good. These things all started somewhere, and usually it started with pointing out the behavior of others. Personally, I will not use the heavy hand of government to violate people's constitutional rights. That is a very slippery slope. Instead, I ask everyone to follow the President's and Governor's requests. Keep your gatherings to less than 10 people and keep a safe distance of at least 6 feet, not only to keep yourself safe, but to keep others safe, including our elderly population. Lastly, I want to remind everyone that character is defined by how you respond to adversity. Challenges are opportunities to learn and to become better people. Do not allow yourself to be paralyzed by fear or driven by panic. Remain calm and thoughtful and help your fellow neighbor through these trying times. Our community and nation's response to this challenge is what will determine how fast we bounce back. Thank you, and good night.